I think James Gunn has made four massive mistakes with the new DC universe. Let me explain. The first problem is starting off the new DC universe with three straight James Gunn projects, because obviously we had Creature Commandos last year, then we had Superman this summer, and Peacemaker just recently. And James Gunn, as we all know, has a very distinct style for his movies. The humor is always very similar, and a lot of his projects like Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, he has lots of music and needle drops. And I feel like just having these three back to back to back has kind of made the new DC universe feel stale right at the start, because it's so much of the same, even though on their own these have all been well-received projects. Like from the very start of the DCU being first announced, James Gunn was constantly talking about how we're going to see so many different types of projects in different eras and very different stories, but we haven't seen any of that to start it off, so it feels kind of stale even though it just started. And like, yes, the season 2 finale of Peacemaker was disappointing, and numbers wise it had a huge drop. On the right is how many people watched the season 1 finale of Peacemaker. As you can see, in its first 4 days there has been a huge drop off in season 2 with only 435,000 households. But I genuinely just think if this released next year in between Supergirl and Lanterns, a lot of people would not be as mad with the finale as they were. Like I said, I still found it disappointing personally, but a lot of the James Gunn isms that he throws into it, like the 2 full concert sequences and this song in particular that's circled right behind me, that stuff gets really old when you've had 3 straight DCU projects all from the same guy with a very distinct tone. Which leads me right to the second problem, which is not having any of the major DC staple heroes like a Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash, Aquaman, and others ready to immediately follow up the success and hype of Superman. Now don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm excited for Supergirl and Lanterns next year, and I think these are both good follow-ups. And even Clayface, like I said, I'm excited to see these new types of stories, like an R-rated DC horror film is something I am excited to see in this new universe. The fact that we have no updates on the Batman, Brave and the Bold and Wonder Woman film, which we know they are working on the scripts for both of these, we're probably not going to see either of these movies until 2028, I'd assume, which means we're probably not going to see a Flash, Aquaman, other characters like that until like 2029 or 2030, which is kind of crazy. And I don't think this would be as much of a problem if it seemed like James Gunn was just sticking to the original DCU slate he announced. Like if we were going to get like Superman and then Batman, but then fill it out with other lesser known characters like the Authority, Waller, stuff like that, Swamp Thing, Paradise Lost. I would have also been okay with that as a fresh take, and then introducing characters like Wonder Woman and Paradise Lost eventually to get to them later down the line. But it seems like a lot of these projects have been canceled too. Like we know Waller has at least been delayed. James Gunn says that just was not working. The Authority we haven't heard anything on. Booster Gold even seems like a sure hit TV show. It could be really funny. We have heard no casting announcement, no filming announcement. I don't think we're going to get any of these things for a very long time. So I just feel like, where is the DCU really going? Like especially with Batman, like I've accepted we're not going to have Robert Pattinson's The Batman merging into the DCU, which is probably for the best for the quality of that trilogy on its own. But if you weren't going to do that, I feel like we needed to be moving a little bit quicker on the new DCU Batman. You've been seeing all the hype now that we have Superman. People want to see these two together. And again, I'm not saying you should rush into it, but we need at least to know that there is going to be a Batman movie within like the next 3 years, I feel like. The third mistake, I think, was James Gunn making Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad, and even some of the 2016 Suicide Squad all canon to this new DCU. I still think it's an absolute mess. And no, it's not just because the Peacemaker season finale was a letdown. I've been saying this since before the season even came out. I understand these were very well received projects. I personally love James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I still think it should have been left behind in the past, because now we're going to have a lot of questions in the future if they cast a new Harley Quinn. Well, why isn't it the same person as in this movie, since these are the same canon? And again, James Gunn keeps talking about the fact like, oh yeah, don't worry, none of these past projects or even like Peacemaker season 2, none of this is going to serve as like homework for the big team up events in the future. He's trying to avoid what Marvel did lately with having TV shows way too intertwined with the movie. But he says that, and then our first big teaser for the major storyline of where the DCU is going is revealed in Peacemaker. And again, I'm sure they're going to show this in Superman sequel and other stuff like that. But again, it is shown in Peacemaker first. I'm sorry, it has become homework if you want to understand where the big event is going, which I'm going to spoil in a second if you don't want to hear. Again, spoiler warning for the ending of Peacemaker season 2, but in this ending we see that Peacemaker himself is thrown onto the prison planet Salvation. And James Gunn has confirmed, yes, this is teasing the Salvation Run, which if you don't know is in the comics, all these different heroes and villains get thrown onto this Salvation planet and end up fighting it out. And he said it's not going to be the same storyline, but they're following the same idea for the DC universe. And yes, that is cool and all, and I know it's just completely complaining about not knowing where the DCU is going, but I feel like confirming this in Peacemaker in the year 2025, when we don't even have a Batman or Wonder Woman movie on the horizon yet, is crazy, because we're probably not going to see the Salvation Run actual like movie or whatever he ends up making it until like 2032 or something. But by far the biggest problem with the DCU is that James Gunn did not cast me as Supergirl's love interest. That is just simply unforgivable from him, I'm not gonna lie. But on a serious note, as I said before, I know this sounds very harsh, but it's just because I do want this new DC universe to really succeed. I just feel like they're making some really weird choices over there. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below, and let me know your predictions for what years you think we're gonna get the Batman and Wonder Woman movie in the DCU. If you want to see all my other DC videos, rankings, and all that on my channel, click the playlist above my head, and thank you for watching.